So we fade over to a pub where we see, surprise, surprise, Gaston is still grumbling over Belle's rejection.
Humiliated. Why, it's more than I can bear.
More beer?
What for? Nothing helps.
This leads to a song about every reason why Gaston is the best man in town, and how he should focus on that rather than the one girl who told him no. But in stumbles Maurice, urging the villagers to help him save Belle, and of course no one believes him. But this is enough to give Gaston an idea. And we fade to Belle, who's still crying. You'd think she'd be dehydrated by now. And Mrs. Potts, the wardrobe, and Chip try to make her feel better, but she tells them she has no intention of joining the Beast in his non-optional date. When word of this gets back to him, he of course responds rationally.
What? Your Grace! Your Eminence! That's not me thinking!
I thought I told you to come down to dinner!
I'm not hungry.
Granted, okay, Belle is acting like a bit of a teenager in this scene if you've watched it.
You can't stay in there forever!
Yes, I can.
Fine!
But then again, the movie's never really clear on her age, and given Disney's track record, this wouldn't be the first time Disney's main heroine hasn't been much older than 18, or in some cases 16. So Beast storms off to his room where he watches her from his magic mirror to hear her say she wants absolutely nothing to do with him.
I'm just fooling myself.
She'll never see me as anything but a monster.
Oh no.
Oh, yes.
Oh no.
Oh, yes.
I've been burnt by you before.
But Belle eventually gets hungry, and deciding to ignore the Beast's orders that she's not allowed to eat until she agrees to eat with him, Lumiere takes her to the dining room where probably the most famous musical number in this movie takes place.
Be our guest, be our guest, put our service to the test. Tie your napkin round your neck, Sherry, and we provide the rest.
Afterwards, Cogsworth and Lumiere take Belle on a tour of the castle, but of course they pass the West Wing. And after getting Cogsworth and Lumiere to leave, she heads up to explore. Because of what we've seen of his temper before, I'm sure he's going to be understanding that she was just curious. Once again, he loses his temper with her and scares her away into the woods where she runs into the same wolves from before. But as they gang up on her, I do kinda like this bit right here, where she almost takes off and leaves him. It's kinda funny, but still watching her expression change as she realizes she can't leave him, it's kinda cool. They go back to the castle where Belle tends to his wounds, and they start to actually talk civilly to each other. And we cut to Gaston making a plot with the owner of an insane asylum to have Maurice committed until Belle agrees to marry him in exchange for his freedom.
Oh, that is despicable. I love it.
But Maurice heads out at just the right time to go find Belle, making Gaston leave LeFou to guard the house until Maurice returns. We then cut to Belle having fun in the snow while Beast watches her and tries to think of something special he can do for her.
Well, there's the usual things, flowers, chocolates, promises you don't intend to keep.
So he gives her an entire freaking library.
I made this for you!
Wonder where I too can find a gruff, dangerous man that will give me all his video games. We then move on to the musical montage of Belle and Beast developing feelings for each other. I guess someone who looks like a wild animal was the sort of adventure Belle had been looking for to break away from the monotony of her life. But honestly, this is kind of a cute montage and almost makes you forget that she's falling in love with an animal-ish thing.
Oh, that is despicable. I love it.
We then cut to... Aw, man, now he's gonna smell like wet dog. Not to mention how long it's gonna take to unclog that drain. Oh, and thank you for that, Disney. At least it wasn't.
Ew, that's so disgusting.
We move on to one of my more favorite scenes, the ball.
Tale as old as time, tune as old as song, bittersweet and strange, finding you can change, learning you were wrong.
After dinner and dancing, the Beast takes Belle outside for some alone time.
Belle? Are you happy here with me?
Yes.
My God, what have I done? But Belle reveals that she's homesick and worried about her father, so the Beast takes her to his magic mirror where they see that Maurice is very sick and dying in the middle of the forest. Beast then makes the hard decision of letting her go to save him and grants her her freedom. This, of course, upsets all the others, as this now means they've probably lost their only chance at becoming human again.
What? How could you do that?
I had to.
Yes, but why?
Because I love her.
Belle finds her father and brings him home, but
May I help you?
I've come to collect your father.
No! You can't do this!
Belle then whips out the mirror to show them that the Beast is real. But for some reason, they think he's threatening.
The Beast will make off with your children. He'll come after them in the night.
No!
And here's where we get our villain song.
Through the mist, through the woods, through the darkness and the shadows, it's a nightmare, but it's one exciting ride. Say a prayer, then we're there at the drawbridge of a castle, and there's something truly terrible inside.
Okay, I know that Gaston's song earlier could be technically considered a villain song, but it's not threatening and didn't have the same menacing feel as a typical villain song. It was just a self-glorifying song. There wasn't anything menacing to it. That's why I count this one as his official villain song.
Till he's dead! Good and dead! Kill the Beast!
So they get to the castle, and we're led into an all-out war of man versus appliances.
There is nothing safe in this room.
Meanwhile, Belle and Chip escape and take off for the castle just as Gaston finally finds his way to the Beast, who is apparently too upset to actually fight. So instead he gets the crap beaten out of him. However, when he looks out and sees Belle's coming, he gets over his heartbreak and fights back, but still spares Gaston's life. I'm sure that's not going to come back to stab him in the oops. Gaston dies, but the Beast is in rough shape, and Belle waits until he stops breathing to say,
I love you.
okay, well now technically this should mean everybody in the castle is doomed right now, but if we rewind back and look closer, we'll see that there was still a petal on the flower. Will they count it? He turns back into his human form, and Belle actually contemplates if she still likes him now that he's no longer a freak of nature. But in the end, she decides she does, and we get a heartwarming montage of everything changing back to the way it was. And Belle and Beast dances out of the film. This was one of the last good Disney movies. It's beautiful, the music for what it was is just fantastic, and everything in this movie works. It's one that if you loved it as a kid, you'll appreciate it even more as an adult. The humor will still make you laugh, the plot will still hold your attention. It's one of the few good ones that will do that to you. I'm your cartoon critic because you are never too old for cartoons. Oh, and on a final note, for those of you who don't like my reviews because you think my personal opinion is biased, Betty White, will you take this one for me?
If I had a dick, this is where I'd tell you to suck it.